Hi folks, welcome back to the Model 3 Man channel. Well, as usual, last night's Tesla reveal, the unveiling of the Model Y, was a really exciting event. It was truly a gathering of the faithful, the devoted, and the true Tesla fanboys and girls. Later this weekend, I'm going to do a full upload covering the event, covering the people who attended, some of the YouTube stars in attendance, and just giving you a bit more of a considered comparison between the Model Y and the Model 3 as Tesla rolls out new statistics and new specifications and we get a clearer idea. Having said that, I was in attendance, standing right at the stage. I did get a test drive, and here are my first initial impressions. First of all, I think it has to be said that, as usual, the press set completely unrealistic expectations of what the Model Y would be about. So to them, this was a disappointment. This was, oh, Tesla's failed again. The stock dropped roughly about 5%. And that is exactly what we've come to expect. Now, as Tesla begins to reveal more about the specifications and the internal capacity and seating arrangements, the opinion is going to change. But I can tell you that around me at the event, 3 of the people that were close to me placed their deposits at that time on their phone. Here are some initial impressions of the Model Y after last night's reveal. Now, obviously, it's important to remember that Elon already said that the Model Y will contain at least 70 to 75% of the components that are in the Model 3. So to think that this car would look radically different from a 3 is completely unrealistic. In fact, if you look from the front, it does appear to be a Model 3. But when you take a side view, you can see the differences. And when you look from the rear, there's a much, much deeper trunk area, which looks quite unlike the Model 3. So obviously, this was not a back to the drawing board redesign. This was an extension of the Model 3 with differences that many people who enjoy mid-sized SUVs were calling for. So let's go through the features and let's have a look at how they changed the Model Y from the existing sedan, the Model 3. So let me mention that when I took the test drive at around the 10 o'clock hour, I made sure to sit in the back. Sitting in the front was virtually no different from sitting in a Model 3, excepting for the fact that the front seats are on risers, so you're actually higher up, which of course is a great thing for those who like to exit and enter the vehicle a little more easily. The Model 3 is pretty low. You have to get down and it can be less than comfortable to enter and exit the vehicle. The Model Y seats are higher. And in the back, of course, they're higher as well. So it has more of an SUV feel to it, where the seating is higher and you can easily step out of the car and step into it. I did notice that immediately when I sat in the back. So first of all, let's talk about the glass on the roof. It is a beautiful, completely unbroken piece of glass. It stretches right from the front, goes over the back, and it doesn't have the cross member that the Model 3 currently has. So in the Model 3, it's broken up with a cross member across the middle of the roof. In the Model Y, it's completely unbroken, and it looks beautiful. Even sitting in the back, looking up, it looked terrific. So the experience for the passengers, both in the back and the front, is going to be of a feeling of complete openness above. One thing about it, of course, people might worry about whether it is structurally sound, and the answer to that is simple. Elon could not possibly expect to get a 5-star safety rating if the glass on the roof were a weak point. You can pretty much bet that structurally it's going to hold up in the event of a rollover, but it looks absolutely gorgeous. Secondly, of course, I mentioned already that the seats are on risers, and what that does, aside from the ease of entry and exit, is that it gives people in the front a better and more commanding view of the road around them and the obstacles and the cars ahead. So really does give you more of an SUV style vantage of what's outside there. The design and the layout in the front of the car is almost a mirror image of the Model 3. So the HVAC system, the central console, the screen, steering wheel, the clean dashboard, all of that looks and feels just like the Model 3, which is why I chose to sit in the back, so I could experience what I've not been experiencing for the 9 months that I've owned Red Dragon. Sitting in the back, Elon had already mentioned that the Model Y will be approximately 10% bigger, and I could feel it. In the back seat, I felt that the headroom was even better. I felt that the knee room behind the front seats was something I didn't even think about. So clearly, there's plenty of legroom before you hit the front seats. And that is one of the advantages of having a car that is slightly bigger and slightly more stretched out than the Model 3. Another design difference is the absence of a parcel shelf behind the rear seats. Now, obviously, that's going to give much greater loading capacity and storage capacity. So that, to me, is a good thing. So those who love SUVs and love to have plenty of space in which to pack and to store things will find that the absence of that parcel shelf gives them a greater freedom to really fill up the back with whatever they need. The issue of the car being a 7-seater, it really isn't. I have to say that I think most people will take the configuration that has 5 seats, because the 2 additional seats, which are optional and which you can purchase later, actually are much smaller and they're designed for kids. So don't think of it as 7 adult seats. Think of it as 5 seats and 2 for smaller members of your family. Those of you who have young kids, that may well be something you purchase, and that will expand the space available. But it's not really a 7-seater in the true sense of the word. So the overall shape and the appearance of the car, it is true, it looks a lot like a Model 3. If you look at it from the front, you'd be hard-pressed to tell the difference. If you look from the side, you can see that it feels and looks longer. And you can see that the rear end seems higher and deeper. And if you walk right to the back and you look at the car from the rear, you can definitely see the extra depth in the trunk area. You can see that it kind of looks chubbier, if that's a word that means anything to you. It's higher, deeper, which speaks to increased storage capacity. Because it is a hatchback, the access to that trunk area is going to be much easier. So it answers the questions of people who owned a Model 3 but didn't like the rear trunk space and the storage space. It does still have the subcompartment. So in your trunk, you can lift the flap up and you can still have additional storage space below. That has not changed. So overall, if you think of this car as a Model 3 with a much better tailgate, much increased internal storage, more spacious seating, but with all the great things that we've come to love on the Model 3, like the clean layout, the HVAC system, that central console without anything on the dashboard, you can think of it as a Model 3 style SUV. So yes, we call it the Y, but if you were to say, this is a Model 3 in SUV format, you'd be getting a good picture of what the car's about. And that's not a condemnation, because Elon already said it's going to use most of the parts from the Model 3. What it does do is address the issues that people had with the Model 3, such as the tailgate, the storage, the low seating, and those were the issues that are fixed in the SUV. So for people who want an SUV style Model 3, that's the Model Y, and that's really my take on it. Anyway, later in the weekend, I'm going to be doing a full upload, and I'm also going to be looking at the car in more detail as Tesla rolls out more of the specifications and gives us more information to work with. I'm going to compare the 3 and the Y, and then, of course, we'll compare the Y with the Model X as well to see what you're getting, what you're gaining, what you're losing if you were to choose this mid-sized SUV. All in all, what a fantastic event. It was just great to be there with fellow Tesla fans. It was great to see other Tesla YouTubers, and by my count, they were all there. So watch out for my upload later in the weekend. And once again, thank you all for your support of the Model 3 Man channel. I really benefited by meeting some of the other YouTubers that I've admired for so long. So please do hit the subscribe button, hit the notify button, and you can be immediately notified once my detailed upload goes up. And following that on Wednesday, I'm going to be uploading the audio, the Model 3 audio version that I spoke about, and you'll get to see what makes it literally the best stock standard audio system in any car today.